Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I got a customer who has 3 pair of steel doors on a an old loft building inner patio area, on like an old warehouse building where it has a center patio area. All 3 of these pair of doors are on the exterior wall and open up into an open patio space. All 3 of these pair of doors have full vision glass light kits in them with FireLite glass. All of the doors and frames are rated. I don't understand why they made them rated, but they did. All 3 pair of these doors have this FireLite glass that is basically turned into what looks now like they're almost pieces of plexiglass in there. They're all fogged up and they're in scratched up, shitty condition. Was wondering if you knew why.
So I have encountered this in the past, and the initial thought was, well, that inspector is being a real a-hole for no reason. Turns out he wasn't, because there's a Jewish client of mine on the south side, I forget where, 63rd and Western, one of the nicest guys you could ever know, and the inspector made him put all fire-rated glass on the exterior walls of this brick 4-story building, because it was a path of emergency exit leading to exterior fire escape stairwells, exterior telescoping escape stairs. That would go down the side of the building. So I've seen it when it has been a path of emergency egress. If that patio leads somewhere, that would lead me to the clue as to why that was done. But other than
it does not. It does not. It does not. That's where I was.
Is there a fire hazard out there?
It's a courtyard. Well, that's the one thing. It was snow-filled when I looked at it, but then I started thinking, do they have a fire pit out there in the summer, and are they allowed to barbecue? Those are the only 2 things I can think of, but I didn't see either of them out there. But it's literally an enclosed courtyard that the only exit from that courtyard is back in through the same doors that you just went out there. Well, like I said, there are 3 pair of doors, one on either wall, 3 different walls of this courtyard. But that kind of stumped me.
Open to the exterior?
No, it's like imagine an old loft building where it's a circle. It's basically a box shape, and in the middle it's built like a donut. The middle of the building is completely empty, devoid of anything. And in the past, there probably wasn't even any doors on this courtyard. There probably was. But it's basically just a donut right in the middle of the building where the only entrance and exit is this particular set of doors in and out. And there's no fire escape because it's on the 2nd floor, and if you look up, you got 3 more floors of building, going up. So it doesn't make any sense to me, where it's completely enclosed.
Yeah, the enclosed part is to me the tip off. They're treating both of those areas that is being separated by that firewall as potential sources of combustibility. The fact that there's nothing out there that would do it doesn't mean I can't walk out there with my welder and and start a small fire.
Right. Okay.
So if there's any chance, this building's 90 years old.
Oh, easily, yeah. It's converted into a condominium building. It was probably an old factory of some sort, and it's in the in the what do you call it? The DePaul neighborhood in Chicago. So one of those type of buildings where it was converted.
I've bumped into that. We did all those condo projects in the early 90s that were going gangbusters in the West Loop. They've got old buildings that were broken up like this, but now they're merging them all together. Those are all 3-hour fire separation on those walls. Even though it's the same structure, it's not the same structure because they're treating it as two independent structures. And because, we all, are exposed to code, but then we read it and forget it. I think there was something regarding the square foot size of each needing to be contained or broken up into into different fire barrier sections that might have had something to do with it as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that gives me something to think about, and at least I can translate that to the customer. Now, the main problem is what they had asked me to do was, hey, this glass looks like plexiglass. It looks like it's all fogged up and scratched up. We want to get new glass. We talked to a glass guy, just regular glass shops out there. They didn't want to touch it.
Yeah, Torsten and those guys.
Right. Do you guys? So my question was, and what he asked me was, can I get this glass replaced? I realized as I'm studying the glass, it was the FireLite glass, and I told him I don't understand. I'm sure that there's some kind of film, something with the glass that makes it that fogged it all up where you can't even clean it anymore. It literally looks like an old piece of plexiglass that someone tried to clean with an SOS pad. They're so bad, and he wants to get it replaced. He asked me if I replace this, what do I have to put in? And I said, well, being that it's fire rated, you got to go with the same exact glass because I'm not changing that. And the light kits can only fit what's in there, number one. And he asked me if the glass gets replaced, is it just going to end up fogging up like this again to where it looks like a piece of crap? So this is an upscale building, and when they walk down the corridors, it literally looks like a plexiglass opening. And I told him I would try to call a couple of people and find out if you knew why this glass does this. Because there is no solution. The glass can't be cleaned. It has to be replaced to look like a regular clear piece of glass on it now. Is there anything that you've ever run into with this type of glass on an exterior?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very typical to have a amber tint to fiberglass, especially the first crop of stuff when it started hitting the market at some point in the 90s, or at least my exposure to it. However, it's all advanced. It's evolved. There is now clear or neutral colored. It's not glass. And that's part of the problem. We're thinking of it as glass. It's ceramic. So all this stuff is ceramic-based. It's not glass, so it won't have the transparency or the characteristics of glass, but they do have that stuff that has a much higher level of transparency than the older amber-colored or FireLite type glass that is still of a really light tinge of tint to it. There's a color to it. And it's probably exacerbated by the fact that, you probably got a lot of daylight, at least on one side of the opening, that you can really see it. And the stuff's not meant to be touched. There is a surface applied film that is used in the science of what makes it do what it can do for a 3-hour fire test. So any attempt to clean that is going to destroy that.
That's what I told them.
Yeah.
I actually took an educated guess on that. I kind of figured that there might be some sort of film applied to the surface, and once you start rubbing that with wrong chemicals or whatever, you are going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Now, it is FireLite NT glass. Do you guys supply? I don't even know if I'm going to take this on, but I told him that I would check into giving him pricing. He wants me to actually give him pricing on me changing out these panels of glass. And they seem to have standard, they have a standard glass kit with the removable screws from the interior, and there would be glazing tape and then the piece of glass itself. But I also told him that it was extremely expensive because we had talked in the past at how expensive the ceramic glass is.
Yeah.
do you supply this kind of stuff? I mean,
absolutely.
The whole, yeah,
I wouldn't shy away from it at all in the sense that it's exactly what you said about it being expensive, but as long as you go back in with an assembly, the ceramic, the metal vision frame, and the glazing that they send with it, and you install it according to the installation instructions, you've maintained the fire rating. The list, and this is just because I'm looking at a list, because you'll be able to translate this. The list on a piece of ceramic only that's $24.60 is almost $1,800 for what's called just list. I'm not doing any calculations or sending you a quote. Just talking.
Sure.
This is Pyran. This is 3/16 ceramic. It's known for its clarity. FireLite is like saying Coca-Cola. It's a brand name. They're the pioneers. But there's so many. I would use a product by Irrelouver, who makes all those metal vision frames, and they have 10 years ago incorporated every type of glass that you could put into a door, including the fire-rated stuff. So I think I wouldn't shy away. There's nothing to it. It's well within your wheelhouse.
Okay, let's see. You said that was about a 20 by 60, just as the example was 20 by 60. Now, is that just the glass itself? Do I need to get new vision kits or the actual frame? You do. I do.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So this stuff would have to be made on your opening size because the way it's tested is as an assembly. Now, as well as I do, neither one of us are the code police, but the way to make this compliant is you have to put in the entire assembly, which means that vision frame has to go as well, because that vision frame wasn't tested with Pyran. But the steel portion of it is insignificant to the cost of overall.
Okay. No. Okay. I got you. So it actually sounds like it would make the assembly easier overall. So let's see what measurement. Now I know my opening measurements of the exposed glass, and I took some measurements of the profile of the framing. Should I be actually removing one of the interior frames and take a look at the cutout in the steel door of what they cut out, because I don't know what's behind the frame. Is like it's 1.25 inches. Here, wait a minute. It's got 1.25 inches flat, and then it tapers in towards the glass, and that height is about 3/8 of an inch. So I actually don't know where the interior cutout would be of the steel door to fit in the vision kit. So should I be taking that apart and just measuring my actual cutout in the raw underneath the vision kit, to make sure I get the right stuff?
When you would go to order it, absolutely. We would want to know the net size of that hole. To price it, I would take whatever your clear size is, whatever you measured, we'll just base it on that. I'm going to add the small percentage adder for a fractional size. And if you come up to a fractional size, you're covered. If you come up to nope, the holes I need are 22 by 62, we're covered. Meaning you're not only covered, but it won't cost that much because we don't have that small percentage adder for a fractional size.
Okay. Is there a way I can get a price on 2 panels then to at least get it started? I do have my clear. Let's see, what do I got? I got, well, we were pretty close there. It's 22 inches by 58 is the exposed glass.
2258 exposed. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to quantity 2. I'm going to send you an email now. It's just a paper trail of this conversation. I will get it to you at some point before I stop working for the end of the day, which will be before I go to bed. It won't be before dinner probably, but you'll have it by tonight. And I'm also going to include a link to the catalog, and you scroll to what would be page 2 or the 4th page of the document, and you'll see the summary of this material. And that'll at least allow you to say, slip it in with a quote saying, yep, this is what we're quoting, the type of glass. So. Okay,
that sounds good. Last question on this, on handling. is there any special tools that are required to handle the glass? Like, have you guys put in these full light kits before? I mean, am I looking at, should I be thinking in my pricing, be pulling this door down and putting it on sawhorses and working on this thing? Is that advisable?
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't try to work that
Okay.
in the vertical, because that glass is going to set down, and then you might, how you've got some exposed glazing tape. When you put the two things together, definitely down in the flat would be the way to go, so you can center it nice and have it look nice.
Okay, that sounds good. At least that gives me an idea of what I'd be working at and how I would approach this. Okay, that sounds good. Well, perfect. I knew you would have the answers for it, Rich. You always do. And I appreciate this. Oh, and by the way, and I appreciate I've been playing email tags with someone you had sent my way with a roller catch issue in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, this lady was looking for help, and it didn't sound like money was a problem in the sense that she wants a $10 item and a $5 install. So I thought, well, you want a concierge level of service? Here's the guy for you.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And well, now I've been looking into it, and here's what I just advised her to do. I took a look. She had sent me some pictures, and according to what I'm seeing is she bought a roller latch that is pretty weak. It looks like an import. I know that they're all imports, but it looks like an import that has like a single weak spring roller catch. And I'd advised her that instead of throwing on extra roller catches on this door, there should be a heavier duty roller catch that's available for this, because I've used them in hospitals on institutional doors where these doors are much heavier and wider than your door, and they easily hold the door shut. So
Absolutely.
What I would do is I would get a heavier duty latch that is comparable to your faceplate size. I had mentioned that to her. And she had sent me an email asking me my recommendations on which ones are heavier duty. Now, I was going to leave that to you because I'm not sure how the spring tension is on the Baldwin compared to a Ricks or an Ives or a what do you call it? A Rockwood. Yeah, it was going to be one of those, but I don't know which one is going to have a heavier spring tension and be considered more heavy duty. I hadn't had my hands on one of those things in probably 15, 20 years. So I don't know if you have I'm going to be sending her a response email, and I'm going to point her in your direction to get verification on which one of the roller latches would be better as far as heft and spring tension.
So all three
I'm
of
not
those,
sure if
Ives,
you know
Baldwin,
Okay.
they are literally variations on a theme in terms of how much force it's going to take to open and close it. I prefer Baldwin because their fit and finish is cleaner because they forge rather than cast much of their brass. But at the bottom, but at the end of the day, the Rockwood is the one that you used in the hospital, the next hospital, and it's going to be the least expensive. And I wouldn't spend extra money for Ives for the name. Baldwin's great, but you're going to pay double for the higher caliber finish that only you and I would kind of appreciate, I think, at the end of the day.
Right.
And the Rockwood stuff looks great.
The Rockwood stuff. Okay, I'll recommend that to her, and you can supply that for her, right?
Oh, I keep it in stock.
Oh, excellent, perfect. And the faceplate size on those is there a standard? I think it's 1 inch by like 3 3/8, something like that.
That's precisely correct. That is exactly that super common size. Where you have then the different options of strikes, full lip, T-strike, ANSI strike.
Okay, sounds good. She's going to need a T-strike, and I'm going to put that in her email, but just wanted to mention that to you in case she forgets to mention that because she had a T-strike existing. And one last question on that. Have you ever seen the precision magnetic door holders?
Are they made by Precision?
Yeah, it's something that I've just run across within the last several months. It's precision manufacturing, and they seem to have a heavy-duty door magnet that is oval in shape and is made to be installed in the door jamb to help hold the door closed. And if you supplied those or had a source for that.
When you get my email, would you reply back with a link to this item? Because I think I see it. Yeah, I do. I see it. Yeah. I am familiar with this concept, but I've never personally used them. And I have woodworking customers, but I've never had any conversation with. I don't have any feedback on what this concealed magnetic catch would actually, how many pounds of force it would provide. Wouldn't hurt, but if it's like 6 pounds, it may not do much.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I would, because my recommendation was obviously first put a quality roller latch in. If that doesn't work, I could either put a second one in for you, which I don't think we'd need, but I could put a second one in for you, or I could put an auxiliary magnet like this precision that I've seen that would augment this, the roller latch, at the top of the door, just in case as a recommendation. But I don't think we're going to have to go that far, but I figured I'd ask and see if you had dealt with those things at any point in time, because they seem rugged, but who knows until you use them the first time.
Yeah, and there are also surface-mounted, magnetic catches that could be installed as well. That could even be mortised into the stop, so they kind of blend in. Same concept, except that if you went with like a triple dual pole, you'll be able to get 15 pounds of force out of it. And that's just an off-the-shelf item. So maybe that would work as well. Rockwood, Ives, Trimco, other people make these items. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's what I'm going to do. We'll start at the beginning. We'll go with one, and then we'll work our way. We'll work our way into more hardware if required. But I don't think it should be. I can't even see. This is a 3 foot by 6 foot 8 door that looks pretty standard. A standard flush door, nothing special. So I thought at the beginning she might have had like a 2 1/4 inch thick door. Maybe it was 3.5 feet wide, but the large entrances of today, and it's nothing like that. It looks like a standard 3068, 1 3/4. So I'm like, how heavy can that door be? That roller latch should be able to hold that door shut without an issue.
Or there's an excessive gap, or it's not been adjusted properly for the right projection.
Exactly, and the one that she has. Yeah, there could be that too. Or she's directly in a wind path as the airplanes go by. That's a possibility too. But she did the one that she has is non-adjustable. That was the first thing that clued me into how weak that thing was. And I looked up the construction, and it looks like it's one of those single spring right down the middle, where it doesn't even have the 2 adjustment screws for dual springs. So I'm figuring the spring is just too weak. So there's no adjustment. It's almost like putting a cabinet roller on there.
Yeah, I think when she called, she said Baldwin, and I immediately went to the 3 3/8 by 1 inch footprint. And I did think to myself, wow, that's going to hold a 3670 door in the closed position. And I not knowing what else to say, I said, well, add a second one. Now knowing that it's a roller catch, as you have accurately called it, well, single spring, 2 screws. It is a roller, or it could be a ball, but it could be a roller, Ives 235 or whatever. That is wholly insufficient for an actual full-size door.
Yeah, no, yeah, it definitely looks to me that that's her only issue. So I think she'll be quite pleased that it'll only take one. So I think we'll go in that direction. I will respond to her today, and she should be contacting you to get that thing ordered and see if we can solve her problem.
All right, sir. I'll send you a quote before I call it a day.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, thanks, Rich. I appreciate chatting with you and giving me, letting me pick your brain. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.